hope you guys can see me okay and hear me okay. Today I'm going to be talking about living with a man. I feel like my screen is kind of dark, so let me switch it around and put it here and see how this works. Okay, let's get to it. Living with a man. I was going to give you guys some fluff, but in return, I think I'm going to give you guys like the real deal about living with a man. So for me, I met my husband in, I met him last, well, I don't even think it matters when I met him. Basically, I moved in last December. We got married in June, so we got married about what's that, 5 months later? Correct me if I'm wrong. We got married about 5 months later. We I ended up moving into a house he already had, which means that legally I'm not responsible for any of the household bills. Now, if we, talk in our marriage and he decides that he wants me to be responsible for something, then things could change, which my husband is absolutely okay with me living here with him as his wife and him paying all the household bills. And yes. So I think for me, it's very beneficial because I definitely don't mind cleaning up after him. And I don't mean like cleaning up after him as if, I'm a maid or anything, but I love caring for people. I love my house looking a certain way. And now that I've moved in and we've gotten married, yes, this is my house too. But he bought something that he could afford before he met me. And I thought that that was wonderful and it was very attractive to me. So, with that being said, I moved into his house and now it's our house. And so, living with a man, what is it like? So I'll go back to what I was going to say, that it's very beneficial for me because I get a chance to further my education and invest in things with the money that I earn for myself. I get a chance to have a lot of freedom. I basically I have a coaching business, and my family also owns a laundromat that I work at for about 5 hours a week. So that is really super cool. And so I have that job where I get some kind of outside the house time. And then I have my own job or career where I get a lot of freedom throughout the week. I get a lot of freedom throughout the day to do things around the house, to go grocery shopping, cook dinner. My life is very non stressful because I am not working to pay any significant bills that if they won't, that if I don't pay them, then our lights could get cut off. My husband, he works full time and he also goes to school full time. So I have no problem being there for him and, doing things like washing his clothes, doing things like, I really like, filing my husband's nails. So doing things of that nature, just like not all the time or like, not filing his nails every day. But obviously, certain men, don't really take care of their hands and feet as much as women do because I go and get like pedis and manicures. So he mostly, relies on me to not even relies. I don't even think it's something that he even knew he needed, but I think it's something that he really does like. And so we do those type of things. And it really just depends on the type of guy that you're dating or the type of guys that you're seeing or you're married to. But my husband, he takes off his clothes, he throws them on the floor, which isn't really the biggest deal, but in a certain way, it does sort of make me a little bit messy because I'm already kind of messy. So if you already see a spot that's messy, then you kind of want to be messy too. So I would say that we're probably not the perfect balance when it comes to us both being like super, super neat. But I will take initiative and I have no problem taking initiative. And since he's, busy and he's putting his energy in other things as far as school and work, I have no problem with picking up after him. I have no problem with sort of like serving him. They say that a man in the house is the lead servant. So I'm like the second servant, not saying I'm like a servant or I'm a maid, but I have no problem doing these things for him, helping him have an easier life, helping him come back home to a super clean house, helping him with things like that. I have no problem with looking up recipes and learning them. It's just things that I don't really mind doing. I actually like them. I actually like improving myself. I actually like having a recipe book. I really, really, really like these things. So I would say living with a man is quite wonderful. I do love having a man in my bed every night that is my husband. I do love when we, watch TV or we wake up together or we just talk and I have someone who's there for me and he has someone who is there for him. I would just say that these are things that I really enjoy and I really, really love. And yeah, so I would say living with a man could be really fun. But if you're a person like me who is more of a sort of, I wouldn't say, if you're someone like me that really likes like strategicness and logical things and you want to date a masculine man and someone who's a provider man, I would say that find a man that already has a nest and you can live there, not to take advantage of him or not to further your education. But, with my husband taking care of majority, all of the bills in the household, it kind of helps me further it not kind of, it definitely helps me further my education. It definitely helps me build a life that I love just outside of the relationship. It definitely helps me grow. It gives me time. Like I remember when I used to work and I used to always think like, "Oh my god, I wish I could just be at home reading a book." And now I live a life where I can read a book at home. And I live a life where I do still have that hunger to make my own money. It's not where I'm getting some like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I'm like, I'm always into furthering my education. I'm always into learning. I'm always into paying to be into certain circles. Whew, I'm yawning. But yeah, so with that being said, I don't know what else you guys want to know about living with someone, but I did just spill some tea about my life, and I hope that this helps you in a way. And I hope that this definitely inspires you to want that companionship because truly, deeply, what it is beautiful companionship. Like 10 times beautiful companionship. I never thought I would live with someone. I never even really thought marriage was possible for me. I I manifested it. What can I say? And I just seen getting married as being the next step. I seen, living with a man as being the next step. I went really far. Like I remember being on the phone with a friend and I'm so thankful that she even let me confide in her and tell me this. I was on the phone with a friend when I was single during the pandemic and I was just like, I think I've made up my mind. I want to be married one day and I just want to move into a house with my man. And if he has kids, I'm fine with that. If he doesn't, I'm fine with that too. but I think I'm ready for deep partnership. I think I'm ready for the next level. And for me, next levels can look different. For me, it wasn't finding a apartment and being independent. For me, it was finding a spouse, whether we were to buy a house together. It was a plus that my husband already had a home and a nest for me, because just like birds, not comparing us to birds, but I'm just saying that we motherly feminine energy loves to be in a position where we can have a nest, we can have something warm and snuggly. And yes, but what I was actually going to say before that, let me see, what was I going to say? I was going to say that this Amazon truck is pretty much distracting me right now. Like, come on, I get it. You went the wrong way and now you're trying to turn around. But does your car need to make that sound? So, one thing that I would say is when you are considering, what your next step is. Oh, this is what I was going to say. When you are considering what your next step is, when you are considering, do I continue to be independent, or do I continue to be, or do I want to be interdependent? Do I want to see what that's like? I highly recommend being interdependent with another human, meaning having someone that you can depend on, meaning having someone that is in your corner. I highly recommend, and I know that we are all social creatures. And just like a newborn baby, if someone has a baby, they sort of want, okay, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. If someone has a baby, let's say they leave this baby alone, they don't cuddle it, they don't do anything to the baby, they just have the baby, and the baby just grows up, and they're like, come on, walk here. There's no picking of the baby up, there's no patting the baby on the back, there's nothing. There's studies that show that that baby will suffer. So with being interdependent with another human, with, going from an independent woman, having my own apartment for however many years I had my apartment for, to being interdependent, I would highly suggest trying to be interdependent with someone, because just like a baby needs that nurturing, we as humans, we need that nurturing too, still in our adult years. We need, someone that's going to rub your head at night and say, everything's going to be okay. We need someone that will, we maybe don't tell them how stressed out we are, but maybe a simple rub on our back from them could just make our moods totally different. And just think, like, if you are independent, you live alone, if something happens to you, not saying that something will, unless your family has a location on you, or there is someone that you talk to every single day, if anything happens to you, the only person that would know right away would be your job. Why not it be your husband? Why not having your husband knowing, like, okay, she normally comes home every day. Where is she? So having that protection, having that security. And yeah, I don't know what else you guys want to hear about living with a man, but I definitely think there are benefits. But I also do think that there's ways that you can sabotage living with a man. And and so it does take you having a very positive outlook on things and being very unbothered and not calling your man out for every small thing that they do. I know my husband, he puts clothes on the floor a lot, and, I don't really mind it, but sometimes it just makes the house look a little messy. So I would prefer him to just put it in the hamper. But these aren't things that I would ever leave him over. These aren't things that I can't just pick up. Like, who really cares, Find out what would be a bother to you. Like, for me, I didn't really have any, like, oh, this thing would bother me. When I came to my husband's house, I had no problem, redoing the bathroom, not as in replacing a countertop or putting in, like, anything big like a new toilet, but okay, let's get a new shower curtain. I'm the type of person who I love, like, a fabric shower curtain. I love bleaching my shower curtain, like, just like, if I buy a white one and I love that kind of like clean look. Most men don't really care about that. They're not concerned about a shower curtain. So it's nice to come in and like pick your own things that will look good in your house with him and just take charge. Be the manager of your house, be the manager of, okay, things are going really wrong in the bathroom. How can I get this together? Being the manager of, okay, I'm bored with our room, I'm bored with the way that my desk is. How can I find a new way to put my desk? So you want to really take management over the house. You want to really take, pride over the house. So, yeah, I see that someone is in. Pop in the live chat and say hi to me. I would love to see if this was helpful to you or just finding out what you're thinking. But yes, I would say living with a man definitely has amazing benefits, but I would say there are ways that you can sabotage yourself just by overthinking and, you know, maybe like my husband, he hangs out with his friends. I don't have any problem with that because men, they need to be around other males, at least having some time for that. So I definitely give him his time. I need time to be on my phone and to be scrolling things like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And he has no problem with that. So although our time out looks differently, I am still okay with things. And so is he. Oh my God, this black cherry sparkling water is so good. Looks like I'm just drinking water, but I'm actually having sparkling water. But yeah, so I would say I did a really good 16-minute talk. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk, guys.